Daniel. Chapter 8. In the 3rd year of the reign of Belshazzar the king a vision appeared to me, Daniel, after the one that appeared to me at the beginning. And I looked in the vision, and while I looked, now I was in the fortress of Shushan, which is in the province of Elam, and while I looked in the vision, I was beside the river Ulai. Then I lifted my eyes, and I looked, and there was a ram, standing before the river, and he had 2 horns. And the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher one came up last. I saw the ram pushing westward, northward, and southward, and no beast could stand before him, and there was no one who could deliver from his power, but he did as he pleased, and he became great. And while I considered this, there was a male goat, coming from the west over the face of the whole earth without touching the ground, and the goat had a conspicuous horn between his eyes. And he came up to the ram that had the 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran toward him in his mighty wrath. And I saw him come close to the ram, and he was enraged at him, and he struck the ram and broke his 2 horns, and the ram had no strength to withstand him, but the goat threw him down to the ground and trampled him, and there was none to deliver the ram from his power. And the male goat became very great. But once he became strong, the great horn was broken, and in its place 4 conspicuous ones came up toward the 4 winds of heaven. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which grew very great toward the south, toward the east, and toward that which is beautiful. And it grew great, as high as the host of heaven, and it caused some of the host and some of the stars to fall to the earth, and it trampled them. Indeed, he grew in greatness to that of the prince of the host, and from him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was thrown down. And an army was given to him together with the daily sacrifice because of transgression, and he cast truth down to the ground, and he took action and prospered. Then I heard a Holy One speaking, and another Holy One said to the particular one who was speaking, How long will the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression that desolates apply, so that the sanctuary and the host are trampled down? And he said to me, For 2,300 nights and days, then the sanctuary will be cleansed. And when I, Daniel, had seen the vision, I sought an understanding of it, and immediately there was someone with an appearance like that of a man standing before me. And I heard the voice of a man between the banks of the Ulai, and he called out and said, Gabriel, cause this man to understand the vision. So he came near to where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid, and I fell on my face, but he said to me, Understand, O Son of Man, that the vision pertains to the end time. And as he was speaking with me, I fell into a deep sleep on my face upon the ground, but he touched me and made me stand in my place. And he said, I now make known to you what will happen at the end of the indignation, for the vision pertains to the appointed time of the end. The ram that you saw, which had the 2 horns, are the kings of Media and Persia. And the hairy goat is the king of Javan, and the great horn which was between its eyes is the first king. And the broken horn and the 4 horns that arose in its place are 4 kingdoms that will arise from his nation, but not with his power. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors have filled up their transgressions, a king will arise, of fierce countenance and skilled in ambiguities. And his power will be mighty, but not by his own power. And he will destroy in an extraordinary manner and will prosper and take action. He will destroy mighty men and the holy people. Through his craftiness he will also cause deceit to prosper in his hand, and he will magnify himself in his heart, and he will destroy many who are complacently secure. And against the prince of princes he will stand up, but he will be broken, yet not by human hands. And the vision of the evenings and the mornings, which has been told, is true. But shut the vision up, for it pertains to something many days from now. Then I, Daniel, was spent, and I was sick for days. Then I arose and conducted the king's affairs, but I was astonished at the vision, and there was no one to explain it. Daniel. Chapter 9. In the 1st year of Darius the son of Ahasuerus, a Median descendant who was made king over the kingdom of the Chaldeans. In the first year of his reign I, Daniel, understood by means of the scriptures the number of the years, which came as the word of Jehovah to Jeremiah the prophet, for the completion of the desolations of Jerusalem, that is, 70 years. So I set my face toward the Lord God to seek him in prayer and supplications with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. And I prayed to Jehovah my God and confessed, and I said, Ah, Lord, the great and awesome God, who keeps covenant and loving kindness with those who love him and keep his commandments. We have sinned and have committed iniquity, and we have acted wickedly and rebelled, to the point of even turning away from your commandments and from your judgments. And we have not listened to your servants the prophets, who spoke in your name to our kings, our chief men, and our fathers, as well as to all the people of the land. To you, Lord, belongs righteousness, but to us, shamefacedness, as it is this day, that is, to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem and to all Israel, those who are near and those who are far off in all the lands to which you have driven them because of their trespass by which they have trespassed against you. O Jehovah, to us belongs shamefacedness, to our kings, our chief men, and our fathers, because we have sinned against you. To the Lord our God belong compassion and forgiveness, for we have rebelled against him. And we have not obeyed the voice of Jehovah our God, to walk in his instruction, which he set before us through the hand of his servants the prophets. Indeed, all Israel has transgressed your law, to the point of even turning away so as not to obey your voice. Thus the curse has been poured out upon us, the very oath that is written in the law of Moses the servant of God, for we have sinned against him. And he has confirmed his words which he spoke against us and against our judges who judged us, by bringing upon us great ill, for under all heaven there has not been done anything like that which has been done in Jerusalem. As it is written in the law of Moses, all this ill has come upon us, yet we have not entreated the favor of Jehovah our God by turning from our iniquities and attending to your truth. Therefore Jehovah has been vigilant with the ill and has brought it upon us, for Jehovah our God is righteous in all the deeds that he has done, but we have not obeyed his voice. And now, O Lord our God, who have brought your people out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand and have made for yourself a name, as it is this day, we have sinned, we have been wicked. O Lord, in accordance with all the manifestations of your righteousness, may your anger and your wrath be turned away, I pray, from your city Jerusalem, your holy mountain, for because of our sins and the iniquities of our fathers, Jerusalem and your people are a reproach to all those around us. And now hear, O our God, the prayer of your servant and his supplications, and cause your face to shine upon your sanctuary that has been desolated, for the Lord's sake. O my God, incline your ear and hear, open your eyes and see our desolations and the city that is called by your name, for we are not presenting our supplications before you based upon any righteous doings that we have done, but based upon your great compassion. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, listen and take action. Do not delay, for your own sake, O my God, for your city and your people are called by your own name. And while I was still speaking and praying and confessing my sin and the sin of my people Israel and presenting my supplication before Jehovah my God for the holy mountain of my God. Even while I was speaking in prayer, the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, reached me in my utter exhaustion about the time of the evening oblation. And he informed me and talked with me and said, Daniel, I have now come forth to give you insight with understanding. At the beginning of your supplications the command went forth, and I have come to tell you, for you are preciousness itself. Therefore understand the matter, and consider the vision. 70 weeks are apportioned for your people and for your holy city, to close the transgression, and to make an end of sins, and to make propitiation for iniquity, and to bring in the righteousness of the ages, and to seal up vision and prophet, and to anoint the Holy of Holies. Know therefore and comprehend, from the issuing of the decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the time of Messiah the Prince will be 7 weeks and 62 weeks, it will be built again, with street and trench, even in distressful times. And after the 62 weeks Messiah will be cut off and will have nothing, and the people of the prince who will come will destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end of it will be with a flood, and even to the end there will be war, desolations are determined. And he will make a firm covenant with the many for 1 week, and in the middle of the week he will cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease and will replace the sacrifice and the oblation with abominations of the desolator, even until the complete destruction that has been determined is poured out upon the desolator. Daniel. Chapter 10. In the 3rd year of Cyrus the king of Persia a word was revealed to Daniel, who was named Belshazzar, and the word was true and concerning a great distress. And he understood the word and had an understanding of the vision. In those days I, Daniel, had been mourning for 3 full weeks. I ate no desirable food, nor did meat or wine enter my mouth, nor did I anoint myself at all, until the 3 full weeks were completed. And on the 24th day of the 1st month, while I was by the great river, that is, the Hiddekel, I lifted up my eyes and I looked, and there was a certain man, clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with the fine gold of Uphaz. His body also was like beryl, his face like the appearance of lightning, his eyes like torches of fire, his arms and his feet like the gleam of polished bronze, and the sound of his words like the sound of a multitude. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, for the men who were with me did not see the vision, instead, a great dread fell on them, and they fled to hide themselves. Thus I was left alone and I saw this great vision, and no strength was left in me, but my color turned deathly pale, and I retained no strength. Yet I heard the sound of his words, and when I heard the sound of his words, I fell into a deep sleep on my face, with my face to the ground. And at that moment a hand touched me and sent me trembling on my knees and the palms of my hands. And he said to me, Daniel, man of preciousness, understand the words that I am about to tell you and stand in your place, for I have now been sent to you. And when he had spoken this word to me, I stood up trembling. And he said to me, Do not be afraid, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand this matter and to afflict yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come because of your words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me for 21 days, but now Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I remained there alone with the kings of Persia. Thus I have come to make you understand what will happen to your people in the last days, yet the vision pertains to something many days from now. And when he had spoken to me according to these words, I turned my face to the ground and was dumb. And at that moment one who resembled the sons of men touched my lips, and I opened my mouth and spoke, and I said to him who stood before me, Sir, because of the vision my anguish has turned upon me, and I have retained no strength. For how can such a servant of my Lord speak with such as my Lord? For as for me, just now there is no strength in me, nor has there been breath left in me. Then the one who was in appearance like a man touched me again and strengthened me. And he said, Do not be afraid, man of preciousness. Peace to you. Be strong, yes, be strong. And when he spoke to me, I received strength and said, Speak, sir, for you have strengthened me. Then he said, Do you know why I have come to you? And now I will return to fight with the prince of Persia, so I go forth, and the prince of Javan is now about to come. However, I will tell you what is inscribed in the writing of truth. Yet there is no one who holds strongly with me against these ones except Michael your prince.